So into arms. So started with tricep push down with the short prime bar and just normal D handles. For a long time I've just been using the rope and then the Vulcan strap and then the prime D handle tricep extension thing. It's got a weird name for it. I think it's called like the rotate handle or the splitter bar, whatever the fuck it's called. Been using that. But I'm starting to get some impingement in my front left shoulder. So I went for a wider grip and it's just all elbow. All I have to think about is just driving my hand as far back as I can. So it's nice and simple. The one thing I have started doing, now that I've got direct arm day, is on my warm-up sets. On most things I do warm-ups. So if I'm training chest and shoulders, obviously my first 4 movements are compounds. I'll warm up on them. But once I'm warm, I'm warm. And because I track everything, I have a rough idea of what weights I then use. So then when I go to like a pec deck or a side delt, I'll maybe just touch a couple plates, a couple pins off of my working weight. And I only do it for 3 or 4 reps just to maintain my energy and not fatigue myself. Whereas at the moment with my arms, the reason I have always been wary of training my arms is this elbow pain I get, this severe elbow pain I get, and my shoulder pain I get. So what I'm doing to accommodate that, not only am I working in higher rep ranges and being a lot more selective with movements I do, but on every warm-up set I do, I'll do at least 2 warm-up sets on each movement and I make sure I go at least 8 to 10 reps minimum. So on that tricep push down, I did 3 sets of 20. And then I went to my last warm-up was the weight I used for my top set last week, which was like 56. And I just did that for 10. And right, sweet, now I'll go to my top set. So I'm finding it's getting a better pump. I might be using less weight, but no one gives a fuck what you can tricep push down. No one gives a fuck what you can bicep curl. People just care if you have big biceps, have big arms. So if you're like me and you have shitty fucking elbow health, shitty joint health, try that, because I'm finding a big change in my overall elbow health and joint health since doing it. arm dumbbell tricep extension or overhead tricep extension done. It's a movement I've done since I was like 15. I've always enjoyed. But the main reason it'll be a mainstay in my arm training, because a lot of the movements I'll probably ditch once 1 or 2 weeks go by and I get some pain, is it trains the shoulder as well in the overhead position. And just in the past 3 weeks I've been doing this arm session, and 3 weeks I've been doing that movement, I've noticed quite a difference in the range of movement I have above my head, which has had quite a direct impact on my back training, which is quite good. It helps train the shoulder in that, helps train it within the stability element of everything, because you're having to use your shoulder to stabilize your elbow to take the weight through the range of motion. So big fan of that. And obviously I'm just doing it on a almost upright bench just to support myself. I find if I do it just freestanding, I'm going to have to arch my upper back a bit too much. So doing it that way just means I can't really cheat myself. And now standing dual cable curl with CAS handles. I've got wee baby hands, so I find this is actually quite tough. But fingers crossed it helps me get some big fat fucking forearms. But just 2 sets on everything. So 1 more set here, and then probably the incline cable curl. There's a new bicep curl machine in, and everyone that trains here I've seen since I entered the gym today is taking a photo of it, probably for Instagram. But there's also a new squat machine, and there's a new adductor, and there's a new T-bar roll just over my shoulder. And no one's posted those and taken photos of those, put those on their Instagram. So it shows what people get excited about with the tips. That's all I'm saying. About 2/3 of the way through this session. So dual standing curl and then incline EZ curl. Nice simple sets. They're high reps on the EZ curl or the EZ cable curl, because you can move a fair amount of weight there. I did take a note of the setting the cable was on and then the angle the bench is on. Again, purely because With progressive overload, you want to minimize the amount of variables. You want the only variables to be the ones that you can control, e.g. the weight, your reps, and then your like sets and stuff, and the intensity you're doing, obviously the time under tension. But what I tend to do on movements that I struggle to figure out why sometimes it's good and then sometimes it isn't, I'll then take like really specific notes. So I took the angle of the bench and then the number the pin was at, because it felt fucking fantastic, and last time it didn't feel that good. I am seeing a fair bump in my strength. Although it's arms, I'm noticing that I'm going next weight up, beating myself by a good fair amount of reps, and it's likely because this is just over 10, just under 10 days on cycle now, so the gear's it's full whack, which is nice. So I've noticed, so on the first movement I did, the press and push down, I went to my top set weight, got to 15, which was obviously the top end of my rep range, 10 to 15. I then still had reps, so I just continued that set until I couldn't, because again, everything's to failure. And then on the incline cable curl, I was 2 reps shy because I overshot the weight. So just rested, got 3 breaths, and then went again, because I know that next week I'll be able to manage that weight for the desired rep range without any breaks. So doing an incline EZ skull crusher here. Like I said earlier, I've got a bit of an impingement shoulder issue going on. So I am having to get someone to pass the bar up to me, which is a pain in the cunt when it's 10 at night and the only people in the gym are like teenagers. But it feels much better. I'm set straight from the bat when I get it passed up to me versus like whacking it up and jugging it up, throwing it up rather. Triceps done for the day. So obviously 2 sets of skull crushers, 54 kilo in total, which is not bad considering in the last time I did heavy skull crushers I managed 70. I used to do them on the floor from a dead stop. So if I get to a weight where that through starts to get just awkward to get the weight up, I'll probably start doing it again from the floor. And then that like cross body one arm cuff extension, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Saw it from my man Taylor, seen him doing it, which is quite tasty. And just two simple sets there. I do tend to time myself between sides at the moment. I'm going right or left to right. I tend to time myself just so it's standardised. I am aware of my time period between arm stuff specifically, because it's arms. I don't want to be in the gym for like 90 minutes for the sake of chatting shit or whatever, so I am trying to be as quick and prompt as it can be. Having a stopwatch, timing your sets, it's not one of the things that's if you do it's going to be groundbreaking, but for like intensifiers, like high rep stuff where you're doing like 3 or 4 sets, I do think it makes more sense, because then the thing that becomes the driver is the volume and the pump rather than the load. And in that instance, I do prefer like a short rest period, like a 30 to 60 second rest period, whereas the majority of other stuff I'll take as much time as I ever fucking need. So 2 movements of biceps. I'm going to do the new machine now, and then I'm going to do like a high cable curl again. That is done purely, 1, it's my favourite bicep movement, and 2, it's training your shoulder in this range. So it's training your shoulder to stabilise the arm, and again there's a secondary benefit of doing that, which is getting the rotators and everything nice and supple. Bicep curl is.